is a big fight feel. One more ticket to be punched for the SFL semifinals in its 24th season, and we have the matchup in front of us at Mount Olympus Stadium in Seattle. It is the Fort Worth Toros looking to try to pull the upset against the Washington Trident. Mark Lopez is alongside me. My name is Chris Curtis. Welcome in to Mount Olympus Stadium, high above as it sits. And Mark, 5 teams left. At the end of this game, we will be down to the final 4.
Yep, absolutely excited to call this game with you here, Chris. Looking at the final teams here to fill up the top 4. And this is going to be a game to watch, a revenge match for Washington, as these teams recently met in week 11 in the regular season, went Fort Worth's way, 14-12. Boy, that was a close game. And now that was in Fort Worth's home. And now that we're here in Washington, they have a chance to take one back against Fort Worth.
And this would be ultimately the more important game of the two. So we'll see if Washington can correct their mistakes and do it in front of their home fans. They're trying to get to the Final Four for the first time in franchise history. Fort Worth trying to get back there. We are underway as it'll be Washington to start with the football at their own 20-yard line, as Sutherland is going to catch this in the end zone and down it as he takes the touchback. Tommy Utah is going to lead the Washington Trident. Shane Kaufman and Christopher Dean, his halfbacks, fullback Julian Gusters, and then a quartet of wide receivers. That's King Alexander, Johan Sutherland, Terrell Cooper, and Phil Koss, along with tight end Azami Mihata. We are underway as 1st and 10 is in front of us. Split backs look and an immediate run on first down for Christopher Dean, and he gets that 3 yards forward. It is 2nd and 7. Mark, turnovers are going to be the main focus today. We've had a flurry of them this quarterfinals amongst all the other games, but these two are two of the best at keeping the ball in their own hands.
Absolutely, but also Washington, one of the best in taking the ball away and the turnover differential. So they have the edge there. We'll see if they can materialize it here in this game.
2nd and 7. It's a heavy set look on 2nd down. Another handoff. This one's going to be for Kaufman, and he's going to get 4 more yards as he gets up to the 27-yard line. 3rd and short. That's going to be another key for both these offenses, is keeping on schedule, and Washington currently is on that schedule. 9:11 to go as we just got underway. Another heavy set look on 3rd down. Utah has not thrown the ball as of yet, and he still won't. Through the middle, got enough for the first down. Christopher Dean has it, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Trident.
Yeah, nice weak side dive there. And, you know, those split back heavy sets formation, you have either running back, you know, much closer to the line, so those split back runs are quicker down the middle, and they get the first down there.
Split backs look against a 4-3, and that is a Shane Kaufman run. He's going to have himself 4 yards to add on to his. 2 carries, 7 yards for him. It's 2nd and 6.
Kaufman, one of the biggest contributors here for the Washington Trident offense in the regular season. Only 2nd as far as carries go behind Christopher Dean, but he has 626 yards in the season. Heavy contributor.
Oh, that's a handoff to Dean. Nearly was a problem, as the penetration on the line was really good. Got a few yards to go as he was bounced outside. 3rd and 3.
Dean, the 2nd head in this 2-pronged running game. 3rd in the league in touchdowns with 10, and has 780 yards to go in the regular season. Again, they've been running all game here, Chris.
Oh, that is not going to be enough, though. They got 1 yard, but it was not enough to get the first down, as that was a big hit to stop the drive in its tracks, and a perfect way to end it, as they will have to punt it away. Delaney Nash, the former league MVP, on the tackle.
Yeah, great defense there by Fort Worth, stopping the run on the inside. Defense was the story of their last meeting, an overall total score of 26 between them. Oh, we had to see a great return here.
That's Cade Stevens, who gets a really nice return all the way to the 42-yard line of Fort Worth. Great work by Stevens as he is able to break a tackle or two.
And when you're on the road against the loud cheers of the opponent, you want to get something going on your end, keep your team spirits high. That great return is a good start for the Fort Worth offense as they roll out for the first time here onto the field.
They start this drive at their own 42-yard line. Real nice work on the punt return. Sets them up nicely as they bring out their offense for the first time. We'll go over it here in just a second. Eric Price is under center. Here we go. On a 1st and 10 after the motion, handoff through the middle. It's a decent run. That'll be a 4-yard run for Jet Zero. He's the main halfback of this roster. Jay-Z Bacon is there as well, number 47. Fullback Aaron Alexander. Wide receiving trio of Henry McGee, Cade Stevens, who you've seen already, and then Stephen Hecker, of course. And then a dual-headed monster of tight ends. It is Robert Garrett Jr. and James Jennings over the middle in the tight end spot. This will be a handoff through the right side, and nothing doing as Bacon gets taken down after nothing going on. It's 3rd and 7 coming up for Price and Company.
Great stop there by the defense on the outside. Those defensive ends, especially Rodney Panani, the recently named all-star defensive end, contributing to the tackle.
That's going to be right side. Big time hit, well timed, and it is knocked out of the hands of the receiver. That is perfectly done, as that is Ryan Cook with the stop. He will force a 4th down, and Washington's going to get this football back.
Yeah, Washington, not known for defending the 3rd down conversion rate. They're allowing 57% on opponents, but really hang on real good there on that 3rd down against Fort Worth.
This will be brought in at the 15-yard line. Decent return is going to get it all the way up to the 25. That was well done by Sutherland, and Mario Edwards is down for Washington, one of the backup corners. That hurts. And we'll see if he can do anything with it. But that's not good news for the reserve cornerback spot for Washington.
And silver lining, you don't want to say that, thankfully it's just the backup. An injury is still an injury. But, fortunately it wasn't their starter.
Yeah, indeed. As we come out back to the 2nd drive for Tommy Utah, he did not throw the ball one time on the previous go. See if they unleash the dragon here on 1st down. They do not. It'll be a run that ends up being a 1-yard loss. Not ideal, but it's 2nd and 11.
They're really running the ball heavy here. In the regular season, they had 2 games where they run the ball over 50 times. Once against OKC, another against Pittsburgh. They won both games because of the ground game. And tonight, I don't know what you think about this run game, Kurt.
I mean, it's been steady, if anything. They've gotten mostly positive yardage on all their runs, just may not be enough to do much. 5 yards there on 2nd down, gets into a 3rd and 6. Now it's time for Washington to put up or shut up on 3rd down. Huge 3rd down, trying to take some momentum away from Fort Worth. It's really even down the middle right now. Split backs, look 2 to the right, 1 to the left. First throw of the game for Utah, over the middle. That one's caught. Has a 1st down and more. Down towards midfield. That is the tight end, Izami Mihata, with the first grab.
Yeah, the number 1 target and number 1 in yards for Washington. He had 55 receptions for 803 yards in the season. Many would say, me included, that he was a snub in the all-star listing. I thought he would be an easy shoo-in. Fortunately, no. But he shows that, hey, I may have missed the all-star, but I'm an all-star in my own right. He makes a huge 3rd down play.
That's a big 3rd down conversion for Washington. Their next 1st down would be past the line, or past the midfield line. That's going to be a run forward for a yard. Not much more than that for Christopher Dean. So Washington comes in with the best record in the SFL, the number 1 seed coming in. They have earned that by all stretches. They've been very good most of the season, and this is by far probably the most success they've had in their franchise's history. Now they're trying to cap it off with a great playoff showing and possibly a title. This is going to be a run forward. Doesn't get much, does Dean, but he gets enough to make it a 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, and to your point about their great regular season, it's been, in most accounts, a comeback season. They've been out of the playoffs for several seasons. This is only their 4th playoff appearance. The last time was 7 seasons ago as St. Louis, and they lost in the wild cards that time. They're here, and they're now in the quarterfinals.
This will be a chance deep for Utah. Caught down the middle of the field for Izami Mihata. His 2nd catch of the drive has them in field goal range. It's 1st down.
He's just wide open, running a route where the zone is wide open. Look here, breaks to the outside. Well, no, it's more of a seam route. He actually just run a vertical route, and nobody covered him. And that was just an easy target for Utah. And look at where they are. Easy scoring position already.
Now they can do it. They're just outside the red zone at the 22-yard line. First and 10 for Utah and company. He's 2 for 2 in passing both of those completions to Azami Mihata. Backing up, tried for a third throw, but he gets sacked instead. A 5-yard loss as Gond gets him from the defensive line.
What a play. What a huge sack. I mean, the previous play, I agree with Eddie Gage and Stats Truck. The previous play was mainly because the O-line gave Utah some time.
Yeah.
This time, he had none of that.
Yeah, Jerry D. Gond came through like a man possessed to get the sack. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Tight end is off to the right as well. Utah looks, now throws, looking over the middle. That one's tipped and incomplete at the 5-yard line. Looking for Terrell Cooper. That was the intended target, 3rd and long.
Cooper actually the only Washington player in the middle deep with 4 white uniforms around him. So interesting decision. Probably saw Cooper run the route. Could have been open at one point, but that window closed and it's an incompletion.
2 to the left, 3 to the left, sorry, 2 to the right,
Pressure.
5 wide. Pressure coming on the blitz, thrown right side, tipped and nearly intercepted. That is incomplete. Delaney Nash on coverage as well. There was 2 Toros in the area. 4th and 15, a punt upcoming for the Trident. Or I'm sorry, a field goal upcoming for the Trident, James Troll. Left hash. Right-footed kicker. Snap is good, hold good, kick is up and on the way. It is up and it is through. No problems there from plenty away, 45 yards. 10 plays, 47 yards, Mark Lopez. Decent drive, gets our first points on the board.
Absolutely decent drive. I mean, still kudos to Fort Worth for hanging on there. They allowed that huge catch by Mihata on the seam route. That didn't stop them from holding strong, only forcing a field goal. James Troll, easy kick for him. His long of the season is 50. That was for 45. And keeps on his high field goal percentage.
That'll work. Fort Worth going to get this football back fairly quickly. Returnable by Cade Stevens in the 2-yard line. He's going to move it to the left to past the hash marks, and he'll bring it all the way to the 31. Good return for Stevens. Here comes Fort Worth. They do not want to give the ball back without putting some points on themselves, even if it is only 3, as this game likely to be a low-scoring affair based on how these two have played each other previously. Should be a really good rest of the game, and thank you for spending your part of the evening with us as we bring it to you. 2:59 to go in this first quarter. It is Eric Price under center. He's got a bunch off to the right against a 4-3 look on defense. First down. Price to throw. Pressure coming. He's going to dump it off on the left and just past the line of scrimmage. And they'll actually say he did not gain anything. I disagree with that, but Jet Zero gets taken down.
He probably gained a few inches, which is why refs are reluctant to make that 10 into a 9. They probably just got pushed forward the credit cards with, but they'll go 2nd and 10 here with the pass. Same play.
Go to the outside, same play. The nice dump off. This one has some meat to it, as that is Jay-Z Bacon who gets himself 4 yards. 3rd and 6 coming up, as Fort Worth is not in a very advantageous position on 3rd down.
No, they are not, and they actually missed their last 3rd and long here, so we'll see if they can do it here. Bunch formation.
Only sending 3. Lots of coverage over the middle. That one's caught.
Ouch.
Right at the midfield stripe. That is one Stephen Hacker with his first catch of the game.
Yeah, this guy must have ribs of steel as he took that hit, absorbed it, collected the ball. I mean, most people will say this is a hospital pass, but he hang on. That's Hacker for you.
He's taking a lot of hits like that over a very storied career for Stephen Hacker. 1st and 10 for Fort Worth. Trying to get something done. They're past midfield to the 48-yard line of Washington. That's a nice handoff for Jet Zero. He's got some room to work. Tries to break a tackle, but has a first down at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for Fort Worth.
That's just some great running. I mean, that's the kind of run game that Fort Worth has been known for in prior seasons to complement their passing game, right? And Zero, no slouch as well in the season, 788 yards. That's 9th most in the league. Very productive season for him.
1st and 10. Fort Worth trying to get something going. Bounce to the outside. Can't get there. That is a Jay-Z Bacon run that stopped in its tracks. 2nd and 12.
And you saw as soon as the ball was handed or was
Yeah.
even snapped, the line collapsed, no room to run on the outside, and that was a failed attempt as as the ball was snapped, essentially.
Nickel look on defense. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. They'll move 1 in motion. That is Hacker. They'll move from right to left. Overload the left side. Move him into the slot. Price, quick toss. That is caught. Just floated over. 7 yards to Cade Stevens. 3rd and short coming up. And we'll probably see one more play before the end of the first quarter.
We're gonna have to keep an eye on that play. The basically quick slants by both Hacker and RGJ. So Bryce had 2 options there on that quick play. We might see something again down the road, but gotta keep an eye on that one.
5 formation. Handoff, trying to get the first down. Not going to happen. Taken down a yard short. And that is going to create a decision for Fort Worth with 13 seconds to go. Possibly the last play we see of this first quarter. Fort Worth going to try to tie this game up, one would think. But they'll take it into the break and think about it as we come to the end of the first frame. It is a 3-0 lead for the Washington Trident over the Fort Worth Toros, but the Toros are knocking on the door. This is the SFL's quarterfinals on the Virtual Football Network. Chris Curtis, Mark Lopez in the broadcast booth, Ron Haynes, Eddie Gage in the stats truck, and of course Cameron Irvine in the producer's truck, giving us the visuals that you see on your screen. This will be a kick coming up here from Emilio Rose. Kick is on the way. It hooks, and it is good just inside that right upright. That was close, but it does indeed stay true. 3-3.
And this time, Fort Worth with their own decent drive to mirror Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Very similar, I guess, their last meeting, that 14-12 game, very close as far as production on both ends. Around 300 total yards by both teams, separated by only a total of maybe 15 yards between them. Time of possession, 20 minutes by both teams that game. And even this game, the way either drive went, Curtis, is pretty similar, I think.
Phil Koss on the return out to the 29-yard line, and Washington is going to get their 3rd drive of this game underway. Had a field goal the last time they went. See what they can do on this go-round. So good stuff from both these teams as far as getting it down the field and getting themselves a couple of points. Hopefully that kind of breaks up the monotony here as we start to get these teams to open up just a little bit. Utah is under center, split backs behind him against the nickel look on defense. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Utah to throw. Right side. That one is caught. And I believe that is Cooper over there, who has himself a 1st down and 10 towards the right sideline. Footwork is real nice over there, and they have a completion.
A nice change of pace by Washington, as for their last 2 drives, their 1st down play has been mostly running, if not only running. And this time they throw one to Cooper on the outside. Nice play, nice route, and it's a 1st and down. We've known Washington to be, more pass heavy than they are running. I'd say they're more balanced in that aspect, but right there, a nice snapshot of how lethal they are passing wise.
They'll put Christopher Dean in a route running concept. Looks to throw this. Utah in trouble over the middle, tipped and nearly caught anyway, as that one will find the turf. That throw to Cooper earlier, that was the first completed pass from Utah to anybody other than Izami Mihara. So that's how that first quarter went. It was the Mihara show and nothing else, at least early on. 2nd and 10 for Utah as that incompleted pass goes by the wayside. See if they maybe rely on the run game here. Make 3rd down a little bit easier, perhaps. Nope, they'll pass it. Looking to throw this. Pressure coming. Right side, and that one's caught. Right side again for Cooper. 2nd catch of the drive, and it's 1st and 10 for Washington.
Yeah, they go back to the well with the same play, same route by Cooper here. Nice cut to the outside, and the outside receiver actually runs a semi-vertical route with him. That forces the outside defenders to choose who they defend, and they chose wrong. Cooper left open. Nice pass by Utah once again.
The backs look 2 to the left and 1 off to the right. Utah puts it to the outside. That's a catch and an immediate tackle as Izami Mihara off the tight end screen gets 4 yards.
Almost feels like a very different playbook here, as this is now a drive that's been mostly passing here, Chris. Well, now they're going to run for sure, right?
In theory, heavy set look. I've been surprised by other things today. This will be a hurtling run from Christopher Dean, but he gets taken back a yard. 3rd and 5 in a scoring situation potentially for Washington, so they really want to get this 3rd down. Key 3rd down coming up here for Washington. Biggest of the game so far here in the 2nd quarter. 2 to the left, 1 to the right, the SFL quarterfinals. Utah backs it up, looks to throw, throws left. That is tipped and incomplete. And it'll be knocked away as Cooper could not haul it in. And it'll be 4th down and likely a field goal attempt.
That's just some solid man defense by Fort Worth, sticking to their man, making any catch attempt difficult for the receivers on this Washington side. And they force another field goal. Very low scoring affair so far here.
49 yards, left hash. James Troll, snap is not great. Needs to hook back right, and it is no good. Kept left and could not hook back forward or hook back to the right. And I think part of that was the bad snap, but he could not get it to go. Plenty of leg, but not the angle.
Guys, it's a tie game. We saw this last time they met. A close one. It's another close one, folks. 3-3 with 7 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter.
All right, well, here we go. 1st and 10 for Fort Worth. Chance for them to keep it going.
Oh,
maybe they can take the lead. This will be a run forward, 2 yards gain, and taken down there. Washington reeling a bit after the lost opportunity at points, and now Fort Worth can really take advantage.
Yeah, this is actually, fun fact, Washington, although this is their 4th playoff appearance, they've yet to record a playoff win. So this for them is their chance to get one in the belt and get that monkey off the back of winning in the playoff.
That is Bacon on the run. He's going to gain himself 4 yards. 3rd and manageable, helped up by RGJ, the tight end, and it's 3rd and 4 coming up for Fort Worth. Another key 3rd down as they try to put something to this drive. Chance for Price, backs up, wings it over the middle. That one is caught. 1st and 10 inside Washington territory. It is Cade Stevens, his biggest catch of the afternoon.
And Eric Price now is spreading the rock now to Cade Stevens. Had a pass earlier to Hacker. We're waiting on the cowboy RGJ, Robert Garrett Jr., to get his catch as well. We know how lethal this passing game can be once those receivers get their share of the passing and reception.
Price handoff through the middle. That is Jet Zero is going to work his way forward. 9 yards from the wily veteran. It's 2nd and 1.
I mean, that's just the defense stood a little too far back, gave much room in the middle, and result 9 yards by Bacon. They're going to try to punch in here for another set of downs.
See if they can get this 1st down. They're 2nd and 1 at the moment.
Field goal range already, too.
Motion man is Robert Garrett Jr. Yes, they have a chance for 3 at the very least. Handoff. Bacon got the 1st down all the way down to the 26-yard line. 1st and 10. They are well within field goal range at this time and are just outside of the red zone.
Gotta credit the offensive line there. They stood strong. Just enough of a gap open on the left side for Bacon to pick up a 1st down and more. And look here, got 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers.
And a pitch play right side didn't go very far, and it is an injury somewhere. That is not ideal, as it is McNeely who goes down the defensive end.
A key piece in this Washington defense, McNeely. Although not an all-star, he is an all-star as far as his production for this team. 4.5 sacks in the season, 19 tackles, 7 TFLs. Losing him is essentially losing a huge piece of, your pass pressure, your run defense. And we'll see if Fort Worth tries to attack the outside here.
I formation. 1 to the left, 1 to the right. That is going to be Jet Zero on a run that will get them 5 yards. Rims are going fast for the 2025 SFL convention, kicking off the league's 25th anniversary season, July 10th through the 13th. If you want to go, you need to book your stay now. Join SFL Nation at the rooftop pool of our host hotel, the Hyatt Regency. You can reserve your room now with a special group rate at simfl.net. 3rd and 5 for Fort Worth. Price will throw. Right side. That is picked off.
Wow.
Back the other way and plenty of room for a return. And that is going to be back to the 17-yard line. How about that? It is a great day to be alive for the Washington defense. It's Nicholas Warner.
Only his second interception in season 24. He had only one in the regular season, but what a time to get your second one in the quarterfinals in games that matter most. Warner stopped a potential scoring drive, and now Washington feels like all momentum is back to them because of that pick.
Yeah, Washington has taken the momentum away with that turnover. We said whoever wins the turnover battle may have the advantage. It is a Christopher Dean run. He'll get 6. And there's your total stats. And that tells a lot of the story, just really even across the board. Just the one turnover. The difference right now, as Washington has a real big chance to get some points and make up for that missed field goal.
I don't know about you, but missed field goal is technically a turnover in there as well. So we've seen 2 total.
Yeah, I can see your logic there. 3rd and 3. It is a 1-yard gain. Here comes a 3rd down for Washington as they try to keep this drive going. Here it is. They need it. Heavy set look, 4-3 look on defense for Fort Worth. Handoff. Dean is going to get there. 1st down and more as he gets to the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for Washington.
He's a slippery man. At least 2 people had initial contact. I thought he would be brought down behind the line to gain, but no, able to score free, pick up a 1st down, and actually one of the D linemen in deep coverage to clean up.
Utah, time over the middle. It's caught. What a bullet to the 50-yard line. And that is again Azami Mihata, his 4th catch of the game.
Now this offense is starting to heat up here at home with the fans. Mihata, 103 yards by Tommy Utah, and the majority of that to Mihata, who's now up to 3 catches in the game. What a night by him. We see the yardage here by Tommy Utah, 6 for 10 in the last 10, 103 yards. Pretty good from him.
Yeah, that's his 10 passes so far. 2 catches by Cooper, 4 catches by Izami Mihata, and that's all of his completions so far. That'll be a run forward for Christopher Dean. It is 2nd and 6. So we come down to 3:11 left in the 2nd quarter of play. It's a tie ball game. 1 spot left in the semifinals as we try to get down to our final 4 teams in this SFL playoffs.
9 in the box for Fort Worth.
Plenty of coverage. That is going to be a run through the middle. 3rd and 4. 2 more yards given up. Delaney Nash on the stop. And another key 3rd down for Washington.
And this is their 8th 3rd down attempt. They've gone 4 for 7 in their last 7 3rd down attempts. And they can smell another set of downs here. They're looking to pass with their 3 wideout.
Backing up is Utah. Right side. It's incomplete. Did not happen. And that is 4th and 4. Decision time coming up here for Washington with 2:27 to go in the 4th quarter. Or the 2nd quarter, sorry.
They're still out of field goal range, right?
They are, yeah.
They're huddling up at midfield. Yeah, they're going to punt this game.
Yeah, should be a punt, and it will be. As they're going to try to pin Fort Worth deep, so the turnover does not come back to bite Fort Worth yet. As that is a punt that ends up a bit towards the left side. Taken in at the 16-yard line. A decent return. Gets it up to the 28-yard line. So turned that into pretty decent field position, did Cade Stevens. And that is where the Toros are going to start this next drive. That'll work.
You look at the score, 3-3. It's not like there's absolutely no offense. Washington, 146 total yards. They're just unable to convert them into any points. They had a chance to put up a second field goal that missed, right? They have 4 for 8 in 3rd downs, and 4 of those missed 3rd downs did not put them in scoring range.
That's a throw from Price off the screen and nearly intercepted. That bounced off the shoulder of Jet Zero, who wasn't looking for the football. It's 2nd and 10.
Not a good start to this drive, as on the other flip side of offensive numbers, Fort Worth lagging behind in total yards. They have 83 so far. That's give or take 60 yards fewer than what Washington has produced tonight. They have a field goal in their name, and really in this low-scoring game, Chris, a field goal is probably enough.
That's a sling just over the middle. That'll get them 6 yards. Yeah, I mean, we're still looking at a 3-3 ball game as Henry McGee brings that one in. Here comes another key third down. A lot of third downs in this game as we hit the 2-minute warning. So we'll talk about it and then have it after this. So 120 seconds left to halftime. It's a 3-3 ball game in the SFL quarterfinals on the Virtual Football Network. A lot of good football left in this postseason. The SFL's 24th season. Heavy set look. This will be a throw and a big-time sack. Unabated to the quarterback as he is taken down like a freight train. 4th and long, they'll punt it away.
Jet Zero had zero awareness, unable to block the sack here. And you saw right there, he just got avoided outright. Zero, basically a non-participant, basically, in the blocking scheme.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if maybe that was by design, but they did not anticipate Cook coming around the edge there, as this will be punted away. It is caught at the 36-yard line. There's a flag. I think that's going to be coming back a bit. Blocking the back, possibly?
Clipping? Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So a clipping call, or blocking the back as it's called now, as that is going to bring the ball back to the 26-yard line. Still Washington ball.
It is the Washington ball now. It's 1 minute and 35 seconds to go. Added around the 26-yard line. Depending on how the first couple of plays goes here for Washington, if they can get to the midfield, we might see the tone of their play change as far as trying to go for points. Where they are right now, we might see a more conservative play from them.
Fort Worth gets the football at the start of the third quarter. So that's something that they'll take into account as they try to figure out how aggressive they want to be on this possibly last drive of the second. That's going to be Christopher Dean through the middle, finds himself 8 yards, and it is 2nd and 2. This game's only going to get tighter. It would seem these defenses are absolutely balling right now.
And I think there was a stat that the lowest ever playoff total score was 20 points, which we achieved in the wild card. We're looking at 6 points heading into the half.
That is a run forward, 1st down and 10. Clock continues to go with 52 seconds to go as Kaufman moves the chains. They are in no hurry, which I think tells me where their mentality is. They'd rather get to the half without making a big mistake. We'll probably see 1, maybe 2 more plays before the end of this half.
Might run it here down the middle again. Oh, they're passing.
This will be a throw. This will be a right side throw for Utah. Okay. That's a catch down the right side, and a timeout taken by Washington.
Now that they're past midfield, they're thinking, okay, I think they can, at least they're thinking, I think we can get some kind of field goal range here with 2 timeouts to go, about half a minute to go, and they're just about maybe 10 yards, 15 yards away from field goal range.
Yeah, that should be more than fine. They got to get it to the 34-yard line, one would think. Left side, incomplete. Clock stops, 2nd and 10. Looking for Cooper.
Looking for Cooper, but Fort Worth rushed 5 with 2 extra rushers on the outside. Probably had to quicken up there on that pass by Tommy Utah. So now, 2nd and 10 here. I imagine Azami Mihara is on his mind now.
2 to the left, 1 to the right in the split backs. Utah to throw this. Left side, tipped and incomplete. Clock stops again, 3rd and 10. They essentially probably have 2 more shots at this.
True.
We'll see.
He did look for Mihara once again there, and Mihara did have a good route, running again another vertical route, but hit as he was trying to make the catch.
26 seconds to go. 4 wide. Overload that left side. That'll give Utah some choices down there. It will also stress out the coverage against the dime look. Pressure. Caught. Johan Sutherland with the catch there. And that's going to bring a Washington timeout. And they are in field goal range from here.
Just about. I mean, they missed around here. You know, they missed 1 yard closer to the end zone, the goalpost. They're going to be in pass mode here with a few seconds to go, trying to get any yardage left. Make this easier for their kicker.
A quick throw left side, caught by Sutherland one more time. They'll run the no huddle here. There's still one timeout left. They do have a chance to spike this if they want, but they'll run a play. Chance over the middle. It's caught.
There you go.
And that is going to be their last timeout with 5 seconds to go. Great drive from Washington to bring this all the way down. And decision time here. Do they take a shot at the end zone? I would not think so.
No,
they do not.
Oh,
Wow.
Look at Mihara's numbers. 5 for 88.
5 for 88. That's crazy. Kick is up, and it is good. Second field goal of the game. As James Troll makes it a 6-3 contest with 2 seconds to go in the half.
Wow, what a drive. I mean, Mihara, we looked at these numbers earlier, but Mihara essentially, the 2 last passes there made that kick more of a guarantee. Otherwise, they would have started kicking it where they missed a field goal earlier. But Mihara said, hey, give me the ball. Let me make it easier for us to score. And this 3 points here, Chris, is probably the hardest lead that Fort Worth is going to climb the rate this game's going.
Yeah, the way that 3-point lead looks very large.
Exactly.
The way these offenses are playing, that's a fact. Ball on the 20 for the last play of the second, or for the second quarter. Likely to be a run. They're in the shotgun. I don't anticipate they're going to throw a Hail Mary. They will throw it. And a lot of error underneath it. It's caught.
Oh.
And there is a flag down. If this is a defensive penalty, I'm not sure that the half can end. It's a block in the back.
Right?
Okay, so that is not going to work. Clipping call against the offense, and that'll bring us to the end of the first half.
Alrighty.
Nope. That'll do it. That brings us to the end of 2 quarters in the Pacific Northwest Mount Olympus Stadium. Halftime has come upon us. 6-3 for Washington over Fort Worth. Mark Lopez, give me your first half thoughts.
I mean, it seems close, but I have to say, I think Washington so far has the edge. They've shown that they can generate more yards than Fort Worth can. They forced the only turnover, the forced turnover, right, with an interception earlier. That was actually a prime chance for Eric Price and company to put points on the board. This could have been 6-3 in favor of Fort Worth. Instead, Washington has been steady, slow but steady, and they have, a 3-point lead. Is this a momentary 3-point lead? Will this get higher? We'll see what else they've got for the rest of this game.
Fort Worth starts with the ball at the start of the second half. For now, we're going to take a break. Thanks to Brakes GPT.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
It's an Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
All right, we are ready to get back going with the third quarter of play. Update from the injury report. King McNeely, a hyperextended elbow. He is questionable to return. As this game about to get underway one more time. Fort Worth's going to start with this football. As this will be at the 1-yard line. Returned by Stevens. He's going to get up to the 25-yard line, break a tackle, and get taken down at the 29. Break into the world of sports memorabilia collecting with Brakes GPT, featuring signed football, jerseys, helmets, photos, and more. Brakes GPT offers you the shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Join the community of collectors on our Brakes GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner on our site, brakesgpt.com. We are just about to go with the first drive of the third quarter. Fort Worth going to have to try to answer a field goal. Chris Curtis alongside Mark Lopez in the broadcast booth. It's the quarterfinals, and it's the last 2 quarters of it as we try to cinch our last spot in the semifinal, final 4, as that is Jet Zero for a 6-yard run.
And Fort Worth definitely hungry for that win when they asked, their coach in Fort Worth, asking what is it like in their locker room now that, they just beat Houston. And he told me that the locker room's essentially hungry after they beat one of the favorites to win the playoffs in Houston. Is somebody down for an injury? No. I thought someone was down because 3rd and 3 was suspiciously a bad spot. I thought it would be 3rd and 1.
Well, that was an interesting run. I thought that was actually a bad spot. It looked more like Aaron Alexander had a 3rd and 1 coming up. I think they shortened him a couple of yards. This is going to be a play-action throw for Price, and it's RGJ. Robert Garrett Jr., the Cowboy, over the middle with a first down.
Fans back home are probably screaming "Yeehaw!" because what a catch he made down the middle. Great route. This is the tried and true tight end seam. They're running it too. They saw what Washington was doing with Mihara, and I'm pretty sure RGJ was like, "Hey, coach, put me in that route. See what we can."
Give me that.
Yeah, and we saw what they did. They made a catch.
Eric Price, 7 for 10, his last 10 attempts. Handoff through the middle, and that is a nice run from JZ Bacon. No, sorry, Jet Zero. Apologies. It's 2nd and 4.
Their first down running has been pretty impressive here. It's their 3rd down conversion that probably needs to be brushed up a bit. They were 4 for 8 in the first half. Time of possession actually 4.5 minutes in favor of Washington. They want to flip a script.
It's a run for Bacon. He's got a first down and more. He'll make the 2nd down play stick, and it is a 1st and 10 as they're just outside field goal range.
And, this is classic Fort Worth. Nice first down running to set up 2nd and short. And then, don't even get to 3rd down. Just run the ball down the gut, get another set of downs. And once again, field goal range here. Last time they were here, unfortunately, it was a turnover. I'm sure coaches in halftime said, let's not turn the ball over when we are primed for putting points on the board.
1st and 10. Price backs it up. Looks to throw this. Moves out of the pocket. He's in trouble. He breaks past one. He's going to run. Get a first down. And he may. No, he's going to keep on the ball. 1st and 10. Eric Price with the run of the game.
He fought that sack through like any of the superstar fullbacks in this league fights through those tackles, and he just says, I am an upright tower. I will stay upright and even pick up a first down. What? This is we saw the last game, Jordan Sipe with his legs. Price as well. He has those legs too.
He's finding him when it matters most, so no doubt about that. They start this chain at the 16-yard line. Through the middle, Jet Zero is in trouble. He's taken down for a 2-yard loss. Got stuck. He did. 2nd and 12.
And you saw right there, Zero reacting to that loss in frustration. Understandable, got caught up behind his defensive or his tackle actually, and that just gave enough time for the defense to clean up the hit, and we might see a short pass here, Curtis.
We could. They've done that before. This is a short pass. Right side. Caught. Great decision from Eric Price. Gets it towards the 6-yard line, and that is McGee with the grab. 3rd and 1.
It might be the same play call, but he threw to a different receiver. Price is like, hey, I might show you the same look, but I mixed it up. I spread the ball around. 3rd and 1, and prime scoring range for a touchdown too.
Should be a chance for a run here. Jet Zero is there, ready to push this forward if he can. Price has the football. Handoff through the middle. First down and more. Down to the 2-yard line. It's 1st and goal for Jet Zero.
What a man, Jet Zero. Through all the criticisms we might have given him this game with the missed sack block, with the tackle for loss, he is still a steady hand. Picks up the 3rd down when he needs to, and sets up 1st and goal for his team.
1st and goal, handoff left side, and a touchdown! It is going to be JZ Bacon to TD Vulture, that one from Jet Zero, and Fort Worth has their first lead of the game.
Immaculate drive by Fort Worth. They looked at the first half. What did we not do right in the first half? One, we did not convert third downs. They converted third downs in this drive, Chris.
They
Two,
did.
the passing game was mildly inaccurate the first half. They were making key passes here, and all culminating in an incredible drive and a touchdown. What a play! What a drive and a touchdown too. The pace this game went, I thought we would see 7 field goals.
Yeah, the way it was going for sure. Emilio Rose adding on the extra point. The play of that drive was definitely the Eric Price run after evading a couple of sacks as he scrambled his self away from danger. Great work from him to improvise, and it brought Fort Worth a chance to get a touchdown. They did just that. Here we go. It is going to be a return to the 25 and to the 29-yard line for Johan Sutherland. It'll be 1st and 10 right there. You're watching Simulation Football League action here on the Virtual Football Network. This week on VFN will feature SFL quarterfinal weekend tonight, plus UFL on Tuesday and Thursday before next week's semifinal coverage on Saturday. Virtual football lives here on VFN. 10-6 game, Fort Worth over Washington. One of these two teams moves in to the semifinals next weekend. Who's it going to be? Nickel look on defense for Fort Worth. That is Sutherland moving right to left. They're going to overload that left side. Utah throws over the middle. It's caught. Azami Mihata, his favorite target, has a 1st down and 10 near midfield.
Yeah, and the zone of the Fort Worth just leaves that part of the field open. You saw a couple of shallow defenders holding the zone, but Washington, I've never thought of Washington to be, throwing those shallow routes throughout the regular season. I don't know what Fort Worth must have seen in their scouting, but unfortunately, that led to that huge pass.
1st and 10. This will be a nice run for Christopher Dean. He's got 8 yards. Kaufman added to his totals. 2nd and 2 for Kaufman and company, as they're going to get close with a chance to potentially at least make this a 1-point game if they can't get a touchdown.
Although they really want a touchdown. Touchdowns beat field goals. That was the story of their last meeting. They scored 4 field goals. Fort Worth, their 2 touchdowns sealed the deal.
That is a run forward and a 1st down.
Oh, nice.
Well done by
Good
Dean
job.
to make sure the ball crossed the line. 1st and 10 for the Trident.
I love that. It's similar story to what Fort Worth, they took a page out of their play. Great 1st down running, set up 2nd and short, and give us a new set of downs.
Oh
no!
Kaufman fumbles the football, and it belongs to Toros.
Wow.
Wow. Kaufman put it on the ground, and Dexter Jackson's the one that picked it up. No, I'm sorry, Delaney Nash is the one that picked it up. Delaney Nash with the recovery has the football for Fort Worth. What a turnover for Washington, and that evens up the turnover score at 1 apiece.
And they've been plagued, well, not necessarily plagued, but they've had a few fumbles throughout the season, 4 total. Kaufman had 1 regular season, Dean with 3. Here's
to the outside,
screen.
off the screen. That is a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9. And what a turn of events here, as Fort Worth clearly has the momentum, and their goal should be to get something on the board and kill as much time as possible.
Yeah, now with that fumble, now they also have their own forced turnover with the fumble now. They might run it here. Oh, they pass.
Price gonna have to tuck it and run. He will slide and nearly got his head taken off. Just barely missing was the defender as he dove over the top. 3rd and 1 coming up here for Fort Worth.
And if I'm head coach Robert Thomp, I look at my DBs. They were just standing there static. The quarterback has passed the 1st down line marker. Start moving and make the tackle.
Hand off. That's a 1st down. Jet 0 to the 40-yard line. 1st and 10.
Jet 0 with another nice run. But you got to credit all the blockers. How is the offensive line in the 2nd level already? What insane blocking by this offensive line.
A lot of runs for both Jet Zero and for JZ Bacon tonight. They've been effective more often than not. 4-3 look on defense for Washington. Fort Worth trying to put themselves up 2 possessions. Quick throw over the middle. That was nearly intercepted. That is incomplete. Looking for Robert Garrett Jr. and it's 2nd and 10.
He was looking for Robert Garrett Jr. once again. I think Nicholas Warner was aiming for his 2nd pick of the day there. Had his hands up. Robert Garrett Jr. actually being the defender in that play, not making that an interception.
2nd and 10. Price with the football. Handoff. Jet Zero is going to break a tackle but get taken down after a 3-yard gain. We want the SFL to reach more people. Do you? The best way to do that is to smash that like button. Leave a comment on the video. Subscribe to the channel. You can help us reach all the people who need more football in their lives. Thanks for your support of the Virtual Football Network.
Key 3rd down. They're out of field goal range here.
They are. That's tipped and incomplete. Not going to work. They're out of field goal range, so Fort Worth's going to have an option here. I think they're going to try to punt this. That's the obvious choice. But how aggressive do they want to be? Not that aggressive. They will punt this away and give the ball back to the Trident.
They force a fumble at around the 43-yard line. They can only muster up 20 yards this drive. So I'd say Washington's defense, they're going to call that a win as they give this ball back to their quarterback, Tommy Utah, to start another drive of their own and get into some kind of scoring position.
1st and 10 for the Trident. Going to be moving left to right across your screen on the biggest drive of this football game. If they get a touchdown, they take the lead back. If they get a field goal, they bring it back to a 1-point game. Over the middle. That's caught. Mihata one more time. His 7th catch of the ball game, and every one of them has meant something.
Yep, they've all been for huge yards. They've all been wide open. This linebacker here in the middle, you need to put your hands up, make that pass more difficult for Tommy Utah and for Azami Mihata to connect to. But look at this, over 100 yards. Mihata, this is his 5th game this season with over 100 yards. He has been very productive.
There's a game previous to this in the regular season. He had 3 touchdowns as a tight end. That does not happen very often. Ooh. That is caught. 1st down and more inside Fort Worth territory, and it's the 8th catch of the game for Azami Mihata.
Okay, that time I gotta credit now the linebacker. I think E.K. Vincent actually jumped up for the ball there. That's what I'm talking about. It's still a better pass by Eric Price as he threads the needle, finds his mark. Another 1st down, and Mihata seemingly unstoppable here, Chris.
And Washington owning the total team stats right now, but they are down in this football game, as you can see there. That is going to be a run for Christopher Dean, and he will go worse than nowhere. He got knocked into 1 yard in the past. 2nd and 11.
2nd and 11 here. It's probably not the result they wanted out of that run, as any unproductive run is actually a clock killer against them.
2nd and 11, minute 20 to go in this 3rd quarter. Utah backs up, short throw, incomplete. That's not going to find the target. Mihata doesn't have many incompletions sent to him, but that one hit the turf.
So we talked about how this is a potential game, a revenge game for Washington, who lost in a close match. Interesting fact, if they win this and get their revenge against Fort Worth, their next match is against Vancouver, who they've also lost to. Their only 2 losses is going to be their 2 playoff games here.
This will be a chance for Utah, looking for their 6th 3rd down conversion, and it is caught down to the 22-yard line. That is awesome, as Sutherland's going to bring that down there in field goal range.
Sutherland, what a catch. I think he was covered well. There was an extra safety help, but he hangs on here. Almost gets sandwiched, but no, had underneath leverage. So actually, a great route by Sutherland and makes a nice catch. Gotta give Utah his flowers too. Makes that throw nicely and square into his receiver's hands.
He's only been sacked 1 time today. Fort Worth not getting enough pressure, it would seem. That is a handoff through the right side, 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8 here. They've passed out of 2nd and 8. They've thrown to Mihata in 2nd and 8. if I'm Fort Worth, I should start keying on that, but that's also one thing they can trick Fort Worth on.
Might be the last play of the third quarter. Handoff, broken tackles on plenty
Wow.
as Kaufman, after he fumbles earlier, gets a great run to make it 3rd and 4. Do we see one more play? It does not look like it. All right, so here we go. It's the end of the third quarter, and both these teams still have a very good shot to win this football game. It's a 10-6 lead for Fort Worth with 1 quarter to go. 1 ticket left to the semifinals. Who's going to get it? We start the fourth right now. Chris Curtis, Mark Lopez in the broadcast booth, Ron Haynes, Eddie Gage in the stats truck, and Cameron Irvine on the buttons as he produces this classic game, last one of the quarterfinals. Washington trying to punch their ticket to the semifinals for the first time in franchise history. They need a score to take the lead. Utah throws left side, incomplete. Nearly had Sutherland. They had a step on his defender, but couldn't bring it in. And it looks like a Washington field goal is on the way.
He did have a step here. Hit
him in the shoulder.
Actually hit him. Probably not in the best, I guess, body orientation to make the catch. And unfortunate, it's a field goal here.
Yeah.
Again, Chris, field goals or touchdowns are better than field goals. Look at this, Washington. You're still down a point.
And Trolls already missed today. Needs this one to hook back in, and he got it just inside the upright. 9 plays, 63 yards, but Washington still down a point.
And that ball took the East Coast to West Coast frame.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Yikes, 32 yards, and that was an adventure from start to finish, as that snap was not fantastic. Some snapping issues from the Washington special teams unit. Could that cost them? Fort Worth about to get this ball back. Chance for them to do something with it. Just 5 yards deep in the end zone. It's Stevens on the return. Uses a shoulder to try to get as forward as he can, all the way to the 27-yard line. Stay tuned later in the quarter for the release of the updated bracket ahead of semifinal weekend as we finalize the final 4 teams left standing here in season 24. The SFL playoffs live here on the Virtual Football Network. Here we go. 1 quarter to decide these 2 teams' seasons. One of these teams is going home, the other one's moving on. First and 10 for Fort Worth. They're up a point. Eric Price is under center in the heavy set look. Through the middle. Jet Zero is going to roll and bumble his way for 9 yards. Interesting spot again. That's the 3rd time we've questioned the spot, but it's 2nd and 1.
It's just a beast running down the middle. You look at his frame, 5'11", but he's somehow packed 225 pounds in that 5'11" frame of him, and he's a bowling ball down the middle.
Through the right side, off tackle. That's a first down and more as Jay-Z Bacon gets him some. 1st and 10 as he sizzles his way to a new chain.
And in this play has been their bread and butter, pulling Jalil LaRue out of his guard spot to be an outside blocker. But that also opens up an option if Zero sees an opening in the middle where he vacated that, then he's going to take it, and he did.
1st and 10, handoff through the middle for Zero. Gets 2 more yards added on. 2nd and 8 coming.
They want to keep this drive going. One of the keys to their success in their touchdown drive has been converting 3rd downs, or not even getting to 3rd downs at all. 2nd and 8 here, they might pass.
2nd and 8. They need something to stick. They don't want to leave this to a 1-point game with Washington playing the way they are. Right side, incomplete. Henry McGee was not even looking for the football there. 3rd and 8, miscommunication is going to hurt.
Yep, that's strictly miscommunication. McGee looking to run a vertical route, but I guess Price thought McGee would cut or make that a hook route. Instead, falls harmlessly to the ground, and bunch set here looking for a pass deep.
50% on 3rd downs is Fort Worth right now. They got to get it to the 49-yard line to get a first. Throw, that's caught. Another conversion on 3rd down for Fort Worth, and Stephen Hecker brings it in. It's 1st down.
I'm surprised Washington didn't show up in the same blitz package that forced the sack earlier. This is that play on the rollout, but there was nobody there. Plenty of time for Price to make that throw. Plenty of time for the receivers to run that routes. That post route out of your, slot receiver is so deadly.
Single back look, 4-3 on defense for Washington. Handoff, left side.
Nice.
That one's going to be a nice one for Zero. Plenty of room to the outside. Down the sideline, he stepped out of bounds. Oh, they're in the red zone, and they are cooking here in the fourth quarter.
I got to credit the wide receivers. Look at that. What a block by Hacker on the outside. He basically was a wall against whatever corner was trying to get out of him. And that's just enough room. Enough? It's plenty of room for the huge run.
All right, so all the way down to the 17-yard line. Zero's closing in on 100 yards. 1st and 10 for Fort Worth. They can take a couple shots here at the end zone. See what they try to do. Handoff through the right side, and Bacon is cooked for a 1-yard loss. 2nd and 11.
Kind of weird blocking concept there. I didn't know what it was as it just collapsed at the snap, forcing another TFL, very similar to the earlier TFL for 2 yards where the O-line collapsed at the snap. They might pass it here. Gotta be careful though for an interception.
Price looks. Pump fake taken down. Did not want to go to his flat guy, and he is going to pay a price. Well, pun not intended. Yes, pun not intended. Big sack taken, 3rd and long.
Could say Price paid with his life, with his body at least. So he did pay the price. But even if he threw to his flat man there, the halfback, waiting for a catch, I believe there was an extra tackler there. It would have still been a tackle for a loss. But 3rd and 16 here.
3rd and long. See what they can do. Price backs up, has time, rolls out. Chance, he's going to have to tuck it and run, and that's not going to work. So they will have a chance here to add on 3 points. Amelia Rose going to try to remain perfect on the day. Knock on wood. 4th and long from the 30 or from a 39-yard attempt. It's on the right hash. They need everything to go right here. Snap is good. Hold good. Kick is on the way. And it is good. Right down the pipe. 10 plays, 51 yards, and a 4-point lead is restored here in the fourth quarter.
These kicks, man. Chris, I don't know about you, but if I'm a fan of either team, I think my heart rate is through the roof. How many field goals have we seen start off bad, then good, or good, then bad?
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of wind is what's happening. That's crazy.
Windy.
You're exactly right. Returnable from the 7-yard line. That's a decent-looking return for good field position. Phil Koss with that return gets it to the 29. Washington's going to start there with 6 and a nickel left here in this fourth quarter of play as we try to decide who's moving on and who's going home. Well, pretty sure I was the one that called that first game between Washington and Fort Worth. And if memory serves, this game was very entertaining from start to finish when they played last time, and it looks like we're going to have more of the same this time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's already entertaining right now.
Utah looks to heave this over the middle, and it's incomplete. Hit the defender in the back. 2nd and 10 as Fort Worth trying to clamp the door shut.
Yeah, this time they stuck a linebacker on Mihara, so he wasn't alone running that route. But if the throw was thrown to him, there would be a linebacker who would be about an inch away from him, trying to make that pass as difficult as possible. And you saw right there, result, incompletion.
That was E.K. Vincent, the one who was tasked with that unenviable position, and that is a 6-yard pass forward. Sutherland on the grab. 3rd and 4 coming up for this.
Look at that. 7 seed highs to make the semis. Fort Worth is 10th seed, and they're going to be going back to the semifinals if they can hang on for a win. It would be their 3rd semis appeal.
Yeah, this is a big one. They would not have a lower seeded appearance though. Past this one. As you can see, this would be their lowest seeded appearance in the semis. Utah over the middle. That one's caught. First down and more. All the way down to the 40-yard line for Izami Mihara, his 9th catch of the ball game.
He has just been running up, up, and up. His compass is northbound. Basically, if you don't put a body on him, he's going to make a catch. I forgot who it was. Must have been Trujillo on the Denver-Vancouver call, saying that Brett Killian vacuums those footballs. I think Mihara is probably a black hole as he brings those balls in.
Offset eye look. Utah looking to put this in the air. Pressure, throws to the right to try to get out of trouble, and he's going to lose a couple yards in the process. He didn't take a sack, but it's still a big-time hit by Davis to bring him back 2 yards.
All right, here we go. 2nd and 12.
Yeah.
I'd say lock Mihara on that seam vertical route. I can already see him right there. It's a slot receiver.
It's a nickel look on defense. They've burned him before on this. Utah over the middle looking for him, and he's got him again. Catch number 10 for Izami Mihara. He's got double-digit catches, and he's closing in on 200 yards receiving.
And it would be his most reception yards in the season. His previous highest is 188 in one game. I mean, you might say, read them as a book. Mihara's running vertical routes, but hey, if you can stop it, well, it's your fault for letting it happen.
Yeah.
They're going to keep going to it.
And catch that 11 receptions for Mihara. He's got 191 through the air. Christopher Dean's first rush in a while, and he's got 6 yards, trying to keep the defense for Fort Worth honest, but they are backing up. How far do they back up, and do they give them the whole thing?
2nd and 4. Man. This is about their best field position, scoring position ever, besides the end of the first half.
Stressful is what this is. Handoff for Kaufman. He's going to get taken down after no gain. 3rd and 4. Biggest third down of Washington's season and Fort Worth season on this play right here. They got to get it to the 12-yard line for a first down. Washington is 7 for 13 on third downs. 2 in the backfield. Offset eye. 4-3 look. Handoff. Left side. Got the first down. Christopher. No, he didn't give it to him. Ben Stone is going to get credited with the stop. There's no way. This has to be looked at.
You got to throw the flag there, coach. It's not even.
Yes,
there you go.
They are. Okay. So Washington's going to challenge a spot of the ball, and we've seen questionable spots all night long as we take a retroactive look at the play brought to you by Retroid. Biggest challenge of the season, biggest moments of the season as they take a look under the hood.
And folks, we got to look if the ball crossed the line. It's not enough that it's over the yellow line here.
Where was the knee at? Knee is down right
still behind.
There. Okay,
it's good.
That's definitely a first down. Should be overturned. Keep the timeout. And it is. So here we go. Washington gets the first down that they needed. They are still knocking on the door in the red zone.
2:55 to go. You know, it'd be really funny if they just go with a straight throw to Mihara in the end zone and take the lead here. A 3-point lead, but 2 minutes to go for Fort Worth. But they need a field goal.
They do. To the right.
They need a touchdown, not a field goal.
That is a chance through the middle. God. Nah, he's down. 2nd and inches. Christopher Dean gets it down to the 2-yard line.
Yeah, now they can smell the score. They can smell the lead. They can smell the first lead they've had since their field goal earlier in the game, in the first quarter.
Maybe give it to Dean one more time. Might as well.
Down the middle.
Yep, this is a heavy set look. This looks like strength on strength to get to the semifinals potentially. 2.5 minutes to go. There's the strength. Taken down. That they got the first down. Oh, man. Kaufman got it just barely. And they have 1st and goal at the 2.
All right, now mix it up. Run to the outside.
Maybe they do. Another heavy set look.
Offset pullback.
Handoff. Christopher Dean. Got it. Touchdown. Washington takes the lead with 2:05 to go.
Man, what a game. All weekend long, Chris. The the home team was behind at some point by plenty of points. Washington was behind for 90% of the game by maybe a field goal or two, but now with the touchdown, they put themselves up by potentially a field goal.
We may not be done yet, because even if this goes through, which it should, and it does, so good kick there by James Troll. That caps off an 11-play, 71-yard drive, just under 5 minutes taken off the clock. 2:05 to go, and Fort Worth has already proven they can kick field goals, so even if they don't get a touchdown, we may be looking at a tie game regardless. We will see. Stevens is back deep for the return, and this is going to start at the 20-yard line. Biggest drive of the season for Eric Price and company, as they now find themselves on the wrong end of a 3-point deficit with 2:03 left.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Big play. Fort Worth, do they have a hero on the roster? Throws short, caught, first down and more, right at the 30-yard line, and that brings us to the final 2-minute warning of the quarterfinals. What a throw.
Yep, what a throw.
120 seconds left in what is proving to be a classic. Fort Worth trying to come back and stun Washington in Mount Olympus Stadium.
And they don't really have to be aggressive in the passing game here. They just need to get on around the 30-yard line, maybe even the 35-yard line for a 50-yard field goal for Amelia Rose. Her long is 48, though. We'll see how much she's going to get tested tonight, if
Henry
they can
McGee
get there.
moves to the bottom of your screen in motion. Price looks to throw this. Heave downfield. That is caught. 1st and 10 towards midfield. And it is Henry McGee, the motion man, who finds a seam.
Yeah, great motion earlier. Brings the receiver with him and makes it so the receiver finds himself in a different part of the zone package. And now suddenly he's wide open.
7 for 10. His last 10 throws, Eric Price. Got to find a different gear. Minute 33 left. Clock continues to run. Handoff, left side, and taken down in the backfield. And Jay-Z Bacon is left on the counter there. 2nd and 11 coming up.
That was TJ Harper. He has been in chat cheering all night long, and he makes a huge play with a minute to go here. Gotta hurry up.
Minute 5 to go. They're not in field goal range yet.
Run again.
Another handoff. That is Jets 0. He's taken down. Create a 3rd and long scenario after only a yard is gained. No timeouts taken. Why are they not taking timeouts? Down 3 points. They got to figure something out quick.
They gotta start. Yeah, and they can't even, spike the ball after this play.
Price rolls right, throws. It's incomplete. 4th down, and Fort Worth is going to have to go.
For the game. This is the 4th down for the game. Washington, 1 out, 1 defensive down to go for the win.
Here we go. They got to get a 1st down, or this game is over. Which team has a hero on the roster? Is it Eric Price? Price looks, throws, caught by Robert Garrett, but it's not enough. 1st and 10, and Washington is going to go to the semifinals for the first time in franchise history.
This is their first playoff win and one of their best regular season records. They get to the semifinals. They were down all game here, Chris. They were down, they were up 3-0 for sure, but Fort Worth with a field goal and basically the touchdown and the field goal, this was 13-6. But Washington held strong. They believed. There's still 3 timeouts though.
There are still 3 timeouts, but not a lot of time left either way. So this should be honestly kneels. But they're not going to just yet. Got to get a 1st down. Christopher Dean has a 5-yard carry. 2nd down, and Fort Worth takes their 1st of 3.
If you're Fort Worth, just got to be wary of any fumble. You fumbled it once, and I doubt they're going to fumble it again. But Just gotta watch out for it.
Washington 1 first down away. Will they find it here? Handoff. Dean, not going to happen.
Big tackle.
Taken down 3rd and 12, 3rd and 5 coming up. Another timeout taken by Fort Worth. And this now the biggest 3rd down of the season for both of these teams. Four-three look on defense. Trying to put this game to bed. Handoff through the middle. It's not going to happen. He's going to be short, 4th and 1. Fort Worth takes their last timeout. They're going to get a punt. They will have a hair's chance to make something happen, but it needs to happen right now.
No, they're going for it.
They're going
gonna
for
end the game here.
They are going to try to finish it right here. That's an aggressive call, but I love it. 4-3 look on defense for Fort Worth. They got to keep everything in front of them. Handoff, first down, game over. Oh my, Christopher Dean seals the game, and that is going to do it. With 8 seconds left, Washington moves on. Fort Worth goes home. How about this game? A 3-point contest, and that is it.
Yep. Wow. We said this earlier. We might see just field goals. It might be the field goal that is the differential to who wins this game, and it was. It was just a field goal. But also, you got to consider that one final drive by Washington, that one final touchdown drive was the game-sealing drive, essentially. The go-ahead score. And Fort Worth just didn't have enough time left in the bank, or in the tank. Chris, the one drive prior to that Washington touchdown drive, Fort Worth were almost in field goal range and they couldn't convert.
Yeah, a massive bit of resilience from Washington to come back in the second half as well. And a great game played by both parties defensively. Just a lot of really good football on display. We have the updated playoff schedule for you starting for next weekend in the semifinals. It is going to be May 3rd. That's Saturday for semifinal Saturday. Tyler and Eddie have the number 3 Vancouver Legion at the number 2 Washington Trident. That game is going to start things off with a really good matchup as Washington tries to avenge a loss earlier in the season. Mark, let's talk about that one first.
Yeah, they go back to the only other team that beat them in the season in Vancouver. I mean, that is my team, but rivals in the same division. Both teams put up a hell of a game that game. It was a high-scoring game. We might see this was a 13-16 point affair. That game next week might be some kind of a 30-40 point affair for one team or the other. It's going to be fireworks all night. And, I'm sure Washington, from that point in the season, they looked at that loss and said, we're going to meet Vancouver again, and we're going to show it to them. Vancouver's ready as well.
No, that'll be a fun one. No doubt about that one. Semifinals start off with them. Then at 9 o'clock Eastern, it is Cameron Duty and Anthony Ellison going to take the last game slot, and they are taking the number 4 Mexico City Aztecs at the number 1 Baltimore Vultures. That is going to be a fireworks display, and break that one down for me, Mark.
That will also be a very important play. I mean, now that all of the home teams have won, it's now going to be Mexico-Baltimore. Those are rivals in their own respect too. They've met each other so many times in prior seasons, in regular seasons, playoffs. I think, Chris, that will be a chess game that I'm excited to watch. I know Dr. T-Bat will have something spicy for Mike Daggs and that coaching crew to try to solve. And if you're, a football enthusiast, coaching enthusiast, that's going to be one hell of a game to watch.
No doubt. Stat of the night. Quarterfinals, all 4 of them that have happened in the 4K23 era, home teams are 16-0 in those games, including this season. There's 3 games left in the 24th SFL season. We will see you guys next Saturday for more SFL action in the semifinals at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. For Mark Lopez and the rest of the Stats crew and Cameron Irvine, I'm Chris Curtis saying goodbye and good night from the Pacific Northwest. We will see you in 6 days' time for Vancouver and Washington. Have a good night, everybody.